Hey everybody, Andrew here with Wicked on the WickedFile team. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit more about best practices for scanning into WickedFile and dealing with multi-page scans as well, which are your multi-page invoices or vendor statements. But you know, as in our last video, we talked about document issues in the AP Hub and dealing with you know common document issues that we'll see and why those scans end up in document issues in the first place. But I wanted to make this video to avoid your scans ending up in document issues in the first place. Um, so first and foremost, that starts with what are the most important things or documents to scan into WickedFile. Um, and that would be your parts invoices, your credit memos that you'll get, when you return a part, and vendor statements as well that you'll typically get at the end of the month or, sometimes at the end of the week. Depends how you have it set up. Also, another good document type that you can upload or shop supplies, invoices for shop supplies or inventory. And a really good step is making sure the PO numbers on those invoices for shop supplies or inventory or stock are labeled inventory or stock. So that way our system knows hey, that's not necessarily a parts invoice. Um, so that's what's important to upload into WickedFile. We don't want to necessarily be uploading, random, pieces of paper that have really nothing to do with reconciling to repair orders or, receipts or anything like that, because that's just going to create noise in your WickedFile account. It's going to confuse the AI because it's really looking for, again, those parts invoices. Those invoice others is what we call them in the system, but for stock or inventory, shop supplies, as well as vendor statements and credit memos. Um, Now, I wanted to talk also a little bit about multi pages. Because multi page, a lot of people upload multi page into their WickedFile account. Um, and again, that's, maybe an invoice where you ordered a lot of stuff and it's 2 pages long, or, typically a vendor statement will have, 2 or 3 pages to it. We want to make sure when you upload that, it's staying together inside of the system and we're not losing a page and having to find it in the system or it's showing up in document issues. So there's kind of three main rules or conditions that multi-pages must follow when uploading into WickedFile to ensure we're not going to have any issues with it whatsoever. And the first condition or rule must be, if you're uploading a multi-page invoice or statement or credit memo or whatever it is, make sure they belong to the same PDF document. It's very important that when we upload it, it's part of the same PDF document, because if it's broken into two different documents, the AI might not catch it in that other document. The second rule is they must be from the same vendor, and the vendor name must be visible on each page. Now, the same vendor, that makes sense. But really, the point there is being, the vendor name, just make it as visible as possible when you're scanning that invoice or, statement or whatever it is you're scanning that's multi-page. Just making sure that vendor name isn't obstructed on page 2 or page 3 or whatever page it is. And then the final rule must be, they must have the same invoice number, and which, obviously they would, but making sure that invoice number is visible on each page as well, because that's also how the AI will tie those multi pages together. So those are our three rules. Again, belong to the same PDF document, making sure that vendor name is visible on each page of the multi-page scan, and then also making sure the invoice number is visible on each page as well. Um, those are our three main conditions. But hopefully this helps. Again, if you ever have any questions or need help, please hit this blue question mark button. We have an AI chat bot in here, a knowledge base, or YouTube videos as you're watching right now. And we have webinars every single week, and you can always contact support as well.